Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome inside my new ill.Gates bass racks. This is an update to the studio template. It's free for existing users. You just have to log in and re-download the template. And now for the first time, it's available as a standalone product to people who just want a really effective solution to making bass lines. All right, so I've got everything auto-mapped here on the push so that you can see all of the different parameter values as I'm adjusting them on the hardware. But those 8 macros will automatically map to any hardware that has auto-map, provided that this little blue hand thing is on the selected device. Then you can, select different devices there, or by using the bank select buttons on your, or by using the device select buttons on your APC or whatever it is that you're using. This kick channel here is muted because it's just feeding a side chain, and I think it's probably going to be a lot less annoying if we're not listening to this kick drum pounding away. All right, so I'm going to show you now some of the features here. Okay, so the coolest, probably main one here is the top select feature, and this is going to pick between oscillators on the top end of the bass multi. So here we're focusing on this first rack in the chain, the bass multi. That one's the instrument, and that's got 8 subs and 128 tops in it. And you select the tops here with the top select. So here, I'll open up the filter, take the envelope off, take the LFO off. Okay, so this is just the raw sound wave. There's a sub that you can see here, right? And then there's 8 possible subs. You're not gonna be changing subs that much, so I typically just select with the sample selector inside the sampler here when I'm using the subs. And then there's the top oscillators here, and you can see that sample selector has been macroed to the top select macro there. So when I want to change my basses, I can simply use the sample select macro here. So let's do that. So you can hear there's a wide variety of synths that I use to create these oscillators. Some of them hardware, some of them software. Some of them I've mutated things from sample CDs, and some of them are from my tracks and stuff. You might recognize a few of them. But that top select allows you to change basses really, really quick and easy. So that's a really great feature. Now, cutoff and res, it's pretty obvious what that is. That's a low pass filter here. And you can add resonance. I didn't let the resonance peak too hard because sometimes that can sound annoying. And if you want to add LFO to the filter, you can use this LFO mount. Speed and LFO mount are adjustable there. It's all fairly obvious how that works. But one really cool way the thing that I've done here to make some of the bass envelope sounds, or womps or wobs as they're known to people, is I have this envelope here set to the velocity, and that allows you to make many different envelope attack times by adjusting the velocity. So I'm going to turn the envelope up and turn the filter down so that we can hear it. And you can see when I hit it hard, it opens right away. Whereas if I hit it gently, it'll open a much more slowly. So you can be like, and when you're editing that in a sequencing kind of setting, like in the piano roll, it's very, very easy to do that precisely. And sometimes if you repeat the note with velocity, you can kind of fake an LFO, and that sounds really cool. So another thing I've done here that I find indispensable is, I don't know about you guys, but I hate editing pitch bend automation, because most DAWs, if you leave the bender up and then go back to an earlier clip, unless that clip has automation, the bending will be up, so it's just fucking horribly annoying, and I'm mystified why they haven't fixed that yet. But anyway, I like to do a lot of my pitch bends with the glide. So you can see here if I put no glide, right? That's just going to jump from one pitch to the other. But as you increase the glide, it'll bend slowly. Increase it more. Right? If you combine that with like the envelope effect here. You can get sweet slides. really a lot of versatility there. And if you ever are finding that you want to experiment by adding additional layers of tops to the bass line, that's actually quite easy. All you have to do is right click, like you expand the chains here, right click on the top oscillators and duplicate. And then on one of the top oscillators, what you would do is go into the sample selector and unmap from top select. So now that oscillator, right, I'm going to rename that OG for original. And then this new one here is still going to be mapped to the top oscillator. So when we move this top, now we have 2 layers of tops. Right, and you can add you could add maybe some distortion to one of the layers if you like. Just turning that on. Oh, it's not real. I don't know what's going on. Hello, Ableton, Earth to Ableton. Maybe it's because I'm capturing audio here. Anyway, you could add distortion, etc. to the layers, and as you see fit. I'm just going to delete that out of the layer. But yeah, it's really easy to make like these super sick kind of layered bass lines by adding those layers. But this bass multi-rack is just a great starting point. It's really easy to get a lot out of it. Okay, so then into here, into the bass splitter. How the bass splitter works is on each layer I used a multi-band compressor with no compression and each band soloed, and that separates it very cleanly. On the highs here I got a little bit of overdrive and some chorus and reverb to add width. On the mids I have chorus and reverb with different settings as well as some filter delay. And then the sub has a little bit of sidechain, and you can see that sidechain is accepting sidechain from the kick that we're not hearing. So if I turn that up, you can see that that is ducking that low end out of the way, which can be really handy. This mono and limiter, that's going to turn on a limiter on the sub and make it mono. Sometimes if you have too much stereo width on the sub, it can cause phasing problems and stuff. But yeah, see, so though if I turn mono on, right, that's made it mono, and it's only when you cross 12 o'clock, boom, there the limiter comes on that you get limiting. But that mono and that limiter in mono, that just applies to the sub. And then you can adjust your crossovers here. And let's turn crispy up. That's going to crisp up the highs. Whoops. So it's adding a little bit of definition to the highs there. And then this space one, that's going to add a little bit of reverb and delay and kind of stereo width to the sound. So let's see what that sounds like. Pretty cool. Here, I'll turn the glide down. All right, so that's that's really expanding the sound a lot, and you can use this more for mixing, right? And then this bass effects over here, these are different effects that you can use on a bass line as you're playing it to kind of make it a little bit more exciting. So here, let's try Go Away. You see that's made the bass go far away and back. Form It is a really fun one. This gives you that kind of talking bass sound that a lot of people really like. Right? Multi-filter is cool. This has a bunch of different kinds of filters that you select over here. So let's see what that sounds like. So you can get your bass talking like that. Disto adds distortion, obviously. And that's really handy if you're using the Form It, for example, or the multi-filter. You can kind of lose a little bit of the frequency range on that. Right, you wouldn't normally use it that much, but you get the idea there. And then Redux is adding some lo-fi effect. That'll sound different depending on which top you have. Right, they all have different different kind of character to it that the Redux will bring out. right? This far away effect I use all the time, and it just makes the whole bass go far away. So actually, let's open up the top a bit. Bye-bye, bass line. Very, very useful compositionally. And then one of my favorites here is this fuck me knob, which just pitch shifts everything all crazy. Check it out. Right, so you wouldn't really use that much in the track, but for effect at the right time, it'll sound super cool. And then we just got a little bit of glue here because there's a lot of layering going on in these other racks here, so that'll kind of glue everything back together. And then a little bit of limiter at the end for good measure and to keep everything from clipping and stuff. Oh yeah, there's one more feature that I didn't cover, and that's the FM. And the FM is in the bass multi here, and that will, you know, add a lot. It's just yet another way to add additional high-end tonal characteristics to the bass. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, FM also stands for face melt. Anyway, that's pretty much how that works. There's, as you can see, a lot of different possibilities here. Be sure to grab all of the racks and like drag them into your user library like that. See, and then when you hit save, then that'll copy all of the files into your user library and everything. But yeah, super fun, super useful, and you know, not too expensive. You know how we do. So yeah, if you guys want me to add anything to the next version or whatever, just hit us back at help@ill.Gates.com with any suggestions. Yeah, love to hear what you guys make with it. Make some cool stuff, and maybe we will swap high fives at a gig in your town someday. Or maybe you'll come to my town. You never know. All right, lots of love, everybody. Have a nice day.